Hello everyone, welcome to Headlines of the Day. This is 5th of March 2022 and we are back again with some of the major articles from the Hindu newspaper. Let's begin our today's edition with the very first article on page number 1 from GS2 Polity and Governance section. The article is headlined as Ruckus in Haryana Assembly as Government Tables Anti-Conversion Bill. So some of the key things you have to consider from this article are: what are the major highlights of Haryana Prevention of Unlawful Conversion of Religions Bill 2022? What is the need for anti-conversion law? What is the status of anti-conversion laws in India? What are the issues associated with this law? And Supreme Court's judgment on marriage and conversion? And what can be the possible way ahead? Moving further, on page number 1 itself, you'll find an article from GS2 International Relations that is headlined as India Abstains Again in UN Vote. From this article, certain highlights to consider are: you have to know about the recent decision of United Nations Human Rights Council to set up an international commission of inquiry that is to look into the cases of human rights violation arising out of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Also, why was it needed and what is India's position at UN Human Rights Council? Moving further, on page number 6, you'll find an article from GS3 Environment section that talks about new gin berry species that is discovered in Tamil Nadu. So from this article, you have to know the facts related to new gin berry species. Alright, moving further, on page number 7 from GS1 Art and Culture, there's an article that talks about the legendary singer Pandit Pimsani Joshi. So the article is headlined as Pandit Pimsani Joshi transformed voice into a tangible form. From this article, you have to know about Pandit Pimsani Joshi. Moving further, on page number 8, there's an article from editorial section, GS2 International Relations, that is headlined as Russia's War, the Impracticality of Violence. So from this article, certain highlights to consider are: you have to know about Russia's violent war on Ukraine, historical links, how it has isolated Russia from the global community, and India's approach and relevance of Mahatma Gandhi's strategy of non-violence in this particular context. Also, how Gandhi's way became the greatest source of India's soft power, certain key analysis and the possible way forward. Moving further, on page number 10 from GS2 International Relations section, you'll find an article that is headlined as Operation Ganga brings back over 3,700 Indians. So from this article, you have to know what is Operation Ganga, that has been in news quite a lot now, and its progress. Moving further, on page number 12, you'll find an article from GS2 Polity and Governance. So the article is headlined as Jank Delimitation, Fears Grow Over Voter Islands. From this article, you have to know about Jank delimitation exercise. Why does the Jank delimitation exercise matter? And the constitutional basis for delimitation. Alright, moving further, on page number 14, you'll find an article from GS3 Economy section that is headlined as Geopolitical Events Have Added to Challenges for Central Banks. From this article, certain key highlights to consider are: why have the financial markets world over have turned extremely volatile? And what are the challenges and dilemmas for central bank, their implications, and what is the possible way forward? On the same page, you'll find an article that is headlined as Conflict Will Worsen Chip Shortage. There's a Moody's analysis. So from this article, certain key highlights to consider are: how the Russia-Ukraine war could hit global supply chains and chip shortage, the economic implications across the world, and what needs to be done in this particular context. Moving on page number 14 itself, there's an article from Polity and Governance that is headlined as Data Protection Bill May Hit the Foreign Direct Investment, says industry bodies. So this article revolves around Data Protection Bill. From this article, the key highlights to consider are major provisions of Personal Data Protection Bill and what are the issues related to Data Protection Bill and the possible way forward. So these were some of the major articles from the Hindu newspaper, and that is a wrap of today's edition of Headlines of the Day. I hope you liked the video. For regular updates, you can follow us on our social media handles, and for more such videos, do stay tuned to the Next IAS YouTube channel.